Hello, welcome back to MFWoodShop. Today I'm going to do a follow-up video on the quick disconnect system that I came up with. The connectors themselves are IEC connectors, which happens to be the same connectors as like a computer power supply. I've been getting a lot of questions on where to get the connectors, how do I like the system, would I change anything, and also do I regret cutting all my power cords? So let's start with where do you get the connectors. I'll put a link in the description below for all the Amazon links that I use for my system. The quick disconnect system has a male and female connector. The female connector goes on the power cord and the male connector goes on the tool. And the reason you want to hook it up that way is the male connector has exposed metal ends. So if you put that on the power cord, you would have exposed metal power. So potentially you could stick your finger in there and actually shock yourself. The female connector has a closed power cord, just like the power cord on your computer, at least here in the States. And you can actually use a computer power cord. And I bought a heavy duty one just to try out, and I've actually never used it. I found that the cord that I made is a perfect length, at least for me in my shop. So there are two connectors. The male goes on the tool, the female goes on the cord. Very important. The connectors are rated for 10 amps, so any tool that is 10 amp rated, you could put the connectors on. So I put it on my Porter cable router, my DeWalt orbital sander, I put it on a heat gun, I put it on another sander, I put it on my palm router, my jigsaw, my circular saw, and just to even try it out even a little further, I even put it on a soldering iron. So all these connectors will switch out with one cord. And that was one of the main motivations of doing all this. I wanted one cord in one location in my shop and bring the tool to the cord, bring the work to the area. What I did find out with the cords anyway, I kind of like to have one on one side of the shop and one on the other side of the shop. It's actually worked out pretty good. So this one actually stays right here at the assembly table. And then I got another one that I'm going to show you here in a little bit on the other side of the shop. And between the two cords, it works really nice. One of the other main motivations of doing this is very quick to put these tools away. So all I have to do is detach the tool. I could throw this in a drawer, and I could fit a lot more tools in there because I don't have all the cords wrapped around or wire tied up or Velcro tied up or anything like that. So I can actually fit a few more tools in the drawer because of just the cord space that I'm saving. A couple other quick connections that I want to show you. One is on electrical reel and the other one is on the Foreman. Two different style connectors, but I do want to show you those. Now, one other connector that I wanted to show you, I put on the back side of my Foreman. And I know you've seen these type of connectors before. The plug will actually just go right into that. And then it also has a built-in power switch. Not really necessary on this particular tool to have that power switch, but I can see it being handy for some other tools. So this is real nice because I don't have to mess with the cord that comes with the Foreman. So I can unplug this and then move this back where I store that, which is on top of my miter station wall. So this is the other power cord that I wanted to show you. It's on an electrical reel. So this is a locking female connector. So this actually locks into those other connectors. And in order to get it off those connectors, you got to actually pull this red piece and unplug it from the tool. So this is kind of handy because if you're doing a lot of sanding or routing and stuff, you don't want that connector to actually come loose. It's really handy because this electrical reel is located in the center of my shop, and it also will reach just about everywhere in my shop. So this is real nice as well. Now, this is the plug-in that I took off of this reel. I just cut it off. I need to add a male in on this so I could actually plug it into this connector and still use it as a extension cord. So I'm going to do that today and show you that connection on the inside. Okay, I got one of these connectors torn apart and I've already started. Just simply cut the cord to the length that you need for your connector. And then something I did forget, hopefully I can get it on there. There's this little boot that comes with it. Put that boot over the wire and the old insulation sleeve. Sometimes these are kind of tough to get on. Depending on how thick your wire is on your particular cord. Should be far enough. Yep. But it's important to put that on because that does have a little lip on there, and that little lip fits in the channel of the connector itself right here. So I've already done 2 of these connectors. These are just little spade connectors, and you certainly don't have to use them, but I would recommend using some sort of connector. It just gives you a better connection around the screw that you tighten these down to. So I'm going to do my last connector here. And that's a pretty strong connection. Now I took the extra step to actually solder these wires onto the connector, but certainly you don't have to. These are strong enough as they are, but I want the extra added protection. When you're soldering wires onto a connector, you want the connector hot, and that'll in turn get the wire hot. And then once it's all hot, the solder will actually suck right up into that connection. It does take a minute though, depending how good your soldering iron is. Okay, I got those connected. Let that cool off for a second. So these connectors, they on this particular one, they just kind of slide right out of the holder here. So you can actually grab one and do your connection out here if you want. If you do that, just make sure you got the right length wire that you need, and you can put it right back in place. And that's what I'm going to do. So in this orientation, the neutral is on this side. So you'll have a white wire, green wire, black wire. So these really just simply get hooked in. I'm going to close up those little spades a little bit. The neutral wires in the, or the ground wires in the middle. And then the hot wire is on this side. So now we got this set up here. And I'm ready to put those in the connector. And they really just slide right in. Now with the connector, it is tight. So keep that in mind. It is real tight. If the length on your wire is right, they will go in. Okay. My ground wire was a little long. That's something else on this with the, most of your tools will only have a white and a black wire. Most of them won't even have that ground connection. This one has a ground connector because it's actually a part of an extension cord. So now you got the connector or the wires in the connector in place. There's this little bracket right here that holds all of that in place. It has two really little tiny screws. And the screws are pretty much screwed right into the housing itself. So you're at that point. Now you put the case on. This particular case has a nut that's indexed into the back. And then the screw will go through, it actually goes through the ground connection hole and the whole assembly itself. And there you go. Remember, this style connector goes on the tool end of your system. This style connector goes on the power cord of your system. You can see here, if you put this side on the power cord, you'll have exposed metal prongs. Power cord, tool. Power cord, tool. It goes in there like that. And then that goes like that. So let's test this out and see if it works. Since this was an electrical reel, and I did actually use this from time to time as an electrical reel, I cut the cord off. So now I have the connector on the cord, or the connector on the reel, and now I have just the cord. So that's the connector I just showed you how to put on. So now I can actually use this again as an electrical reel. So I want to test this to see if it works. All right, it works. See, it wouldn't release until I pulled that red pin, then it came right out. On this particular one, I actually epoxied a couple of magnets so I can actually store it right there. All right, so that is the follow-up video for the quick disconnect system. Remember, in the description below is going to be the links to all the connectors that I've used here in the shop. Just remember, the male connectors goes to the tool. The female connector goes to the power cord. So however many power cords you want, that's how many female connectors you need. However many tools you have, that's how many male connectors you need. Down below, there's many links and many different styles of connectors. I encourage you to take a look at those and see which one's going to best fit your needs. So that's all I got for you this week. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I will see you next time.